And the people who are too young, they're always thinking, it's an old thing, I don't have to worry about this. But my question to the young group is when do you start thinking about longevity? When the rose bush is fully bloomed or when the seed goes into the soil? Well, yeah. Let's talk about some numbers. 25, 75, and 315,000. The 25 is the percentage of American adults who do not move, who do not exercise. We cannot think that that number won't have absolutely detrimental consequences downstream, not only for them, but the American healthcare society. 75 is the percentage of school-age children who do not meet the recommended requirements in PE. We are teaching a generation not to move. If the fish weren't swimming, the birds weren't flying, and the deer weren't running, we would think we have a catastrophe on our hands. We can't think that that won't have absolutely massive consequences downstream, not only for them, but for America healthcare. The 315,000. The 315,000 is if you were going to retire today, is the amount of money you as a couple will be paying out of pocket for your medical costs after what Medicare pays. I got to tell you, that number ain't no one prepared for. Our job is to find a way to make us not dependent upon that number. Or if we have that money, maybe we can split it up and have maybe go on more trips. Maybe add addition onto the house or give it to the grandkids. Not to have a dependence upon that money. Well, this is the bad news. If you ever heard me speak before, I would never tell you something bad without giving you a solution. I wouldn't tell you the house is on fire without saying, we need to go that way. So let's talk about 5 things that are reasonable, effective, and cost-effective. Reasonable, effective, and cost-effective for us to do on a regular basis. Number one is to move more. What do this group and this group have in common? They don't move nearly enough. The magic number is 150 minutes a week. 150 minutes a week. Monday through Friday, I'm going to move for 30 minutes a day. I'm going to give you the weekend off. You're welcome. But please, if your spouse says we need to go do something this weekend, and you're saying, well, Otto said I got the weekend off, please no emails. I have gotten those emails previously. 150 minutes a week of motion. Number 2, rocket fuel. Not diets, not nutrition, rocket fuel. We eat what the people who live the longest on earth do, which is a plant-based stuff. It's not hard to do. Here's the crazy stuff, is that the animal protein that used to be grown on farms is now produced in labs. Rocket fuel. Number 3, great sleep. Great sleep. To sleep, perchance to dream. Here's the crazy thing about sleep. When we have babies, it's like, the baby has to be the baby's going to sleep. Shh, the baby's sleeping. As adults, I have to watch the end of that game, although I can watch it 14 different times the next morning, or I have to find out exactly what happened to that dead body from 30 years ago. Where would they find that again? Number 4 is a way to take us out of here. Mental rest and focus. Mental rest and focus. Be able to take this, put it over there. The simplest ways. My favorite way is meditation. Maybe you pray. Maybe you listen to instrumental music. My wife's favorite way, going for walks in nature. Simple. The 5th way is an optimized nervous system, an optimized nervous system. If I buy a brand new computer, I want to make sure it runs its best, because when I add in those other apps, that they run the best also. I want an optimized nervous system. The most reasonable, effective, and cost-effective way to do that is to get you up to this position as much as possible. Some of the students here are already going, uh-oh. When I started practicing 30 years ago, it was Mrs. Johansson, an 82-year-old woman from Sweden who was built like this. When I go into the schools and do the scoliosis checks, which is a curve this way, the number is 3.2% of girls, 2.8% of boys-ish, who are going to have a scoliosis. What percentage do you think are now built like this? It's at numbers. Reasonable, effective, cost-effective things to do. We do more of these things, our independence goes up. We do more of these things, that number is no longer needed for doctor calls, for prescriptions, for copays. If you were to Google how many prescriptions are filled in America in a good year and divide it by the amount of Americans, you would find as a nation, each one of us averages 15 prescriptions a year filled. As that number goes up, our independence goes down. Reasonable, effective, cost-effective. See, there's two people in your future. There's two people in your future, and they look just like you. And they're at a granddaughter's dance. And you're back there. One of them is back there, and it's going, I'm going to get the first dance, second dance, third dance, fourth dance. I'm going to get every dance. And we love that person because they're alive, they're living, and they're independent. And then there's the other person who's not. We know both of these people. Which one do you want to be? How can we stack the deck to make sure we're that person? How can we stack the deck on a daily basis, a little bit every day, to make sure we're closer to be that person? We do more of these things, we get to be more like that person. We do more of these things, we can use these monies differently. Which ones do you want to be? Alive, living, and independent. It's not that hard. I appreciate your time.